About today something interesting in Arabic, which is related to Arabic prepositions that are redundant in Arabic. They are not, they are extra, and how to translate them. I'm going to actually look at some of these. Let's have a look together. Okay. So I'm just going to go for them, find them in here, and you can see that these, I'm just going to give you an example of them. For example, here they don't have an equivalent basically, as in the case of ما جاء من رجل. ما جاء من رجل means no man came. ما رأيت من رجل, I saw no man. That is also the word men is not translated, or not there's no equivalent to it. Again, so not only the men, which is redundant because it is this is not being needed, as it were, and it is not. It has no meaningful task implied in the function of the word men. Again, لست عليهم بمسيطر. Again, الباء is not really needed to be translated. That's why you're not there to control them. You're not the one to manage men's affairs. You are not a dictator over them. So you see, all of these are where the preposition is not translated at all, and is left as it is. And we know that the word musaytar is with a sad, even though it is saytara is a sin originally written. Usually it's written with a sin, but here of course it's from the Quran, and it's written in sad. But it's the b which is what I'm after in terms of translation. Again, we have more examples, and this is from my book, by the way, which I published in 2013 in Rome. Arachne is the publisher. 2013, and here we have again the same thing with regards to the prepositions that are redundant again, which they don't need to be translated. هل من مخلصين يفعلون ذلك? Are there no dedicated people to do that? And ليس بمؤمنين. مؤمنين here means two, and not mu'minin. We have to put on the noon. Usually what you need to do here in this one here is put a sukoon on the ya, mu'minain, and fatha ala noon. Mu'minin, this is a plural, so laysu mu'minin, laysa bi mu'minain. Both the prepositions are not needed to be translated into Arabic, into English. That's why you say laysa bi mu'minain. They both are not truly faithful. And the other one, laysu bi mu'minin, which is plural. I think many will be confusing the dual with the plural in Arabic, which is quite actually, sometimes it's very difficult to actually tell without tashkil, without putting the diacritics on them. That's why it becomes very difficult. When you have words that end with defective letter, like muhami or fatan, and وصديقي صديقية وصديقي صديقية وصديقي is another element. مررت بصديقية مثلا, that is another thing, which is مررت بصديقية by my two friends, and the صديقي, I'll show you where that is. Actually, this is مررت بمحام بمحامية. Let me just show you that. جاء محامية means my lawyer came. رأيت محامية ومررت بمحامية. And again, also with the صديقي is the same thing as well. If I go back a little bit, this is for فتى. هذا فتاي. فتاي means my boy. رأيت فتاي مررت بفتاي. And this is for the this kind of nouns that have got this ending, which is what's called the defective noun, الاسم المنقوص والذي ينتهي ب يا, which ends with a ي. Sorry, I just have a drink of water. So here, as you can see, just going back to our topic about the words that has got prepositions which is redundant and doesn't need to be translated, we have seen ليسوا بمؤمنين ليسا بمؤمنين وليسوا بمؤمنين, which is the plural. Then we move on to another type, which is redundant Arabic semi-prepositions. And these prepositions, which are semi-prepositions, how do we translate them? These are quite interesting, like the word رب ضارة نافعة. Of course, رب ضارة نافعة, if you want to translate it, you can have it as a literal. Harm can be useful, but that is literal and interlinear translation. Whereas if you could say many a harmful thing can be useful, which is also closely to literal. But of course, if you want to translate them into an idiom, the way it is idiomatic in the Arabic, because رب ضارة نافعة is a well-known idiom, then you can go for every cloud has a silver lining, which is a communicative translation here, because it's like a proverb. So this is for رب, كيف نترجمها, many a, and we have here رب رجل كريم قد لقيت, again many a nobleman have I met. This is another for رب. And then another, apart from رب, there are other particles which are used like this one below, used for emphasis, this one. إن زيدا قائم. إن زيدا قائم. Zaid is certainly standing, or really standing, or actually standing. So the word inna here is tawkid, which is stress or emphasis, and it can be translated. It's a semi. This is very interesting. قل إن الهدى هدى Allah. This is in the Quran. Prophet tell them true guide is the guidance of God, which is Halim's translation. And then you have Yusuf Ali translation saying, say true guidance is the guidance of God. And they say, oh Muhammad, verily, verily, you see, inna, verily, right guidance is the guidance of Allah, which is Al-Hilali Khan. But my own translation would be for emphasis as well. Say guidance is truly the guidance of God, which is my emphasis and my translation compared to the other three translations in this instance here with regards to inna. Then وما ربك بظلام للعبيد. Here again you have the B, which is redundant, and ma, of course, we know that's negation, and you remember I did do ma before. وما ربك بظلام للعبيد. You have three different translations, and then my translation, which is in D. Your Lord is never unjust to his creatures, which is Halim's, and then nor is your Lord ever unjust in the least to his servants. And then you have Al-Hilali and Khan saying, and your Lord is not, or translating it as your Lord is not at all unjust to his slaves. And then my translation, which is, and your Lord, not you, your Lord here, it should be your Lord, is never unjust to his servants. So then we move on to more exercises on this. ما أنزل الله به من سلطان, which is another element or another point here, which is related to the translation of preposition, which is min, names for which God has sent down no sanction, which is halims, and then the second one by Yusuf Ali, which is names for which Allah has sent down no authority. Of course, the difference is the word Allah sometimes, because of religious meaning or the implied meaning more, if you use Allah instead of God, there is a discussion about whether to translate Allah as God or Allah as Allah, transliterated. So that is names for Yusuf. He says names for which Allah has sent down no authority, and the names for which Allah has sent down no authority as well. So it's a very similar, the two here, with each other. And then we move on to another redundant, we have here some more redundant examples. ما لهم به من علم ولا لآبائهم. They have no knowledge about this, nor did their forefathers. No knowledge have they of such a thing, nor had their fathers. Of course, such a thing or this, it's quite vague, but then of course it's not clearly indicated. No knowledge, which is number 3, no knowledge have they of such a thing, nor had their fathers. You see, the word min is not translated because it's redundant again. So that is very, very important to notice, that such prepositions are, whether it's min or be, seems to have no translation to them. قُلْ كَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكُمْ. Again, the same, say God is sufficient witness between me and you. Enough for a witness between me and you is Allah. Sufficient as a witness between me and you is Allah. And the last one, God is a sufficient witness between you all and me, which is my translation. I would say even between you all and I, which is more accurate in English. This is my translation of this particular one. And you can see the b is not translated as well. Of course, there's the issue of you and me or me and you, but as you can see here, you and me and me and you in English, and I've explained it in the book here about when you say you and I, let's go you and I, you don't say I and you. But in Arabic, and this is very, very important actually, to highlight or to indicate that sometimes in English you say let's go you and I. You don't say I and you, because if you say that in English it would sound like you are very arrogant. It will be considered as being very, very unacceptable to say that. So that's why you need to say you and I can go, let's say swimming or whatever, but you can't say I and you. But in Arabic, when you say ana wa ant. You don't say anta wa ana. It sounds very strange to say that. So this is yet another remark about the translation and how you can actually pay attention to how the systems in English and Arabic are quite different, and that's why this kind of shift in the order of words, ana wa ant or anta wa ana. Have a nice day.